Arboviruses. Start from a case. A 20-year-old college student developed fever, chills, severe headache, pain around eyeballs, and muscle and bone pain a day ago. He was found to have a generalized macular rash when he was checked in the hospital. He went fishing and was bitten by a lot of mosquitoes a week ago. Questions are: what organism is the likely cause of this condition? Why did he become infected? How do we treat him and protect others? Let's get to know some diseases transmitted by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are arthropods. The arthropod-borne viruses are arboviruses. Arboviruses are transmitted by arthropods that bite and feed on blood, primarily mosquitoes and ticks. The main characteristics of arboviruses are using blood-sucking arthropods as vectors, causing seasonal and district-specific diseases. Learning objectives. At the end of this session, you should be able to list the important arboviruses and the associated diseases. Describe the biological properties, pathogenicity, immunity, and prevention of dengue virus. Arbovirus is a collective name for a large group of diverse viruses, more than 400 species. Most arboviruses are classified in 3 families: Flaviviridae, Togaviridae, and Bunyaviridae. In general, they are named either after the place where they were first identified, for example, Japanese encephalitis virus, or after the diseases they cause, for example, yellow fever virus. The diseases caused by arboviruses range in severity from mild to rapidly fatal. The clinical manifestation usually fits one of the 3 scenarios: encephalitis, hemorrhagic fever, or fever with myalgias, arthralgias, and a non-hemorrhagic rash. After recovery from the disease, immunity is usually lifelong. I will just introduce dengue virus in this session. I will leave you to learn the other viruses by yourself. Dengue virus is a member of the virus family Flaviviridae. Flavi means yellow. Flaviviruses are characterized by an icosahedronucleocapsid surrounded by an envelope and a single-stranded positive sense RNA genome. They are small viruses with 30 to 40 nanometer diameter. The E protein on the envelope has the hemagglutinin activity. Dengue virus. The origin of the word dengue is not clear, but one theory is that the word dengue means fastidious or careful, which would describe the gait of these patients with bone and joint pain. Here is some information from WHO website. Dengue is the fastest spreading vector-borne viral disease. The global incidence of dengue has grown dramatically in recent decades. About half of the world's population is now at risk. There are an estimated 100 to 400 million infections each year. Pathogenicity of dengue virus. Natural hosts are monkey and human. The viruses are transmitted to people through the bite of an infected Aedes mosquito. These mosquitoes also spread Zika, chikungunya, and other viruses. Humans is the reservoir for dengue virus, but monkeys in the jungle is another reservoir, and other Aedes species may also act as vectors. Because of the high level of viremia in an infected person, the virus can be efficiently transmitted between mosquitoes and humans without an amplification host. Latent period is 4 to 7 days. There are 4 distinct dengue virus serotypes: dengue virus 1, 2, 3, and 4, meaning an individual could be infected 4 times. Most of the affected are asymptomatic. About 1 in 4 people infected with dengue will get sick. For people who become ill with dengue, symptoms can be mild or severe. Dengue fever, break-bone fever, usually include flu-like symptoms such as high fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and a rash. Most people recover from dengue fever after a few days. In more severe cases, about 1%, the infected person may develop dengue hemorrhagic fever, DHF. Dengue hemorrhagic fever is a much more severe disease, with a fatality rate approaching 10%. However, with proper medical care, only 1% will eventually succumb. The initial symptoms are usually typical, but rapid deterioration ensues. Bleeding under the skin, severe abdominal pain, and vomiting will soon follow. Dengue hemorrhagic fever can lead to shock, which we call dengue shock syndrome, DSS. Immunity. Humans can produce anti-dengue virus antibodies, but these may be non-neutralizing antibodies. Antibody-dependent enhancement of viral replication occurs when non-neutralizing antibodies bind to infectious dengue virus particles during a subsequent infection. The non-neutralizing antibody virus complex attaches to the Fc receptors on circulating monocytes, thereby facilitating the infection of Fc receptor cell types which would otherwise not be readily infected. The outcome is an increase in the overall viral replication, leading to the potential for more severe disease. Lab diagnosis. Demonstration of viral RNA by PCR. Serologic tests to detect the antibodies. IgM suggests a recent dengue virus infection. IgG measurement in a single serum sample is not helpful because it remains detectable for life after the first dengue infection. 4-fold increase of IgG titer is of diagnostic value. Prevention and control. There is no specific treatment for dengue fever. Supported management should be provided for those who are symptomatic. The only current method of controlling or preventing dengue virus transmission is to effectively combat the mosquito vector. There is a vaccine. The vaccine is targeted for people 9 to 45 years of age living in endemic areas who have had at least 1 documented dengue virus infection. Summary of dengue virus. Biological properties: spherical, diameter is 20 to 30 nanometer, icosahedral. Positive sense single-stranded RNA, enveloped, 4 serotypes. Pathogenicity: sources are infected monkey and human. Vector is Aedes. Clinical findings include dengue fever, dengue hemorrhagic fever, and dengue shock syndrome. Immunity: antibody-dependent enhancement. Laboratory diagnosis: detection of genome or antibody. Prevention and control: mosquito control. We are done with dengue virus. Besides dengue virus, Japanese encephalitis virus, Russian spring-summer encephalitis virus, chikungunya, yellow fever, and West Nile virus are all flavivirus. They have similar biological properties and cause febrile disease, hemorrhagic fever, and/or encephalitis. All of them are transmitted by mosquitoes except Russian spring-summer encephalitis virus, which is spread by ticks. Eastern and Western equine encephalitis viruses are toga viruses, with mosquitoes as vectors. Crimean-Congo hemorrhagic fever, CCHF virus, and yellow fever virus, similar to dengue virus, can cause bleeding and fever. So they are also grouped into hemorrhagic fever viruses, which will be discussed in the next session. Now, let's see the case again. What organism is the likely cause of our colleague student's condition? The most likely cause is dengue virus. The preliminary diagnosis is based on the symptoms and the signs and the history. High fever, headache, pain around eyeballs, muscle and bone pain, and rash, and bitten by mosquitoes a week ago. The infection can be confirmed by the detection of dengue virus-specific IgM antibody. Why did he become infected? Because he has been bitten by the infected mosquitoes. How do we treat him and protect others? There is no specific treatment for dengue fever. We can only provide him with supportive measures. We can also offer him the vaccine after he recovers from this infection. Mosquito vector control is an important preventive measure. Hope you can answer them correctly and enjoy the learning process. It is Arbovirus. Next session, we will discuss hemorrhagic fever virus. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.